Both online and offline students, good morning. Online students, am I loud and clear? Am I visible, guys? Am I audible, guys? Super. Okay, yesterday our main focus was on what topic? How to create a IOC container, right? First we understood dependency injection. Then we said Spring supports both dependency injection and lookup, but it supports 7 modes of injection, out of which how many are popular? 4. In that one, which is best? Field means member variable injection, right, guys? After that, we spend our time on IOC container creation. Okay, how many types of containers are there in Spring? Speak out. All these things reflects in the coding. What I speak, what we learn now, exactly reflects in the coding. Don't separate concept from practical. Without concept, there is no coding. You feel coding heavy if you don't have clarity on the concept. If you enjoy concept, coding becomes easy. What you see in the concept exactly reflects in the coding. I know your college education spoiled your brains because of they don't have proper infrastructure. They separated theory and practicals in programming subject. Yes or no? Na? On Blackboard, they write the C program and you have to go to lab to do practicals. That is not the correct way of learning any programming subject. Then and their concept, then and their execution of the code. Then and their errors will come, then and their errors should be solved. This is the learning environment. But because they have got some infrastructure issues, because they cannot arrange a projector, computer in every classroom, that's why somehow they separated theory separately, practical separately. That's why you people are feeling programming means heavy job. Why I will tell. At the time of noting down program, instead of semicolon, you have taken colon. In the lab, you type the same colon. You will struggle to solve the problem. Your friend also struggles the problem because both are jogi. Yes or no? Na? Then after four, 5 times, you will start hating the programming. One more programming now. For one small mistake, it will give 10 errors. So don't do that. That's not the correct way of learning any programming subject. Where you learn concept, there only code development. There only code execution. There only clearing the errors. There only enhancement. This is the setup that is required. Yes or no? Na? You might have learned core Java in your college days. That time you might have felt pretty difficult, right? But when you learn the core Java with our faculties, did you feel the same complexity? No. Why? Here live coding is happening, live concept building is happening, where the moment you learn concept, you are getting clarity with the practicals, right? So at least guide the friends, the juniors who is feeling heavy about the coding, who is running away from the coding. Problem is not with their brains. Problem is their environment where we learn the coding. Is that clear? So that's why today onwards, don't separate concept and practicals. Both are together. You have to study together. If concept is good, same concept really reflects in the coding as it is. Fine. So let's come to our, how many containers are there? Bean factory and application context. Yes or no, no? Which is best container? Okay, to create application context container, do I need to install web server software? Like Tomcat kind of thing should I install? It's a lightweight or heavyweight? How can you say it's a lightweight? One or other predefined class will be there. Create object and container is ready or not. And that object creation line I can place in any Java code inside the main method, inside the user defined method, servlet component, JSP component. So one object represents one container. Don't you think it's a lightweight environment? Super. Okay, tell me, container is a god. It will guess everything and do, or we have to give instructions? We have to go because container is not a god to read your brain, right? Okay, how to give these instructions? either XML file or Java classes with annotations, right, boss? Okay. So XML is outdated approach or new approach? What is the latest approach? Through annotation. And we place annotation through Java classes or not there? Tell me, guys, as on yesterday's discussion, what is the best class to create application context container? Annotation config application context. This class expects XML file as the input file, configuration class as the input file. How does normal class become configuration class? What? Yesterday learned, today forgotten. Huh? Is it a wine too? रात को लिया morning में उतर गया, right? It's not wine or some alcohol, boss. It should be carried for at least 1 week time. Within 1 week you do practicals, it will resist in the brain. How much you shout, how much you listen, things will register when you do practical. Till that time they will be there in the buffer. Once you do practical, they will go to hard disk. Yes or no? If you get errors and you solve the errors on your own, they go to strong deep area of the hard disk. You never forget them. So that's why don't do practicals by sitting in your hostels, okay, cabins. Come to a lab. There you do practical. You have laptop, then also come to lab and do practicals in the lab. You solve your problem, also help others to solve the problem. If I get the chance, I will remove lab coordinators from the Naresh IT lab, boss. Because if lab coordinator is there, he will come and solve the problem. He will gain the knowledge. I want you people to sort out your problem. You should discuss among you people and to sort out the problem. Then solutions will be remembered forever. Every day one solution. After 1 month, 30 solutions will be there. And someone comes to and says, I got this problem. I got this problem for 10 days back. This is the solution. So daily by sitting in the lab, you have to improve problem solution stack. After 1-2 months, the stack becomes such a stack, every problem looks like a known problem. Got it? So that's why stop doing practicals in the hostel, and while doing practical, once listening songs, all these are nasty. Full focus is required when you are doing practical, and that environment is available in the lab only. If it is your own place, you will never be in control. If it is a public area, especially lab area, because of rules and guidelines are there in the lab, you will be a bit disciplined person and your focus will be on the subject. Yes? Okay. Yeah, tell me. In annotation config application context class, guys, how I'm going to give inputs, configuration class. How to make normal class as configuration class, guys? @ configuration. Okay. Does it make class as just a configuration class, also as a Spring Bean? But what is the original annotation to make Java class as Spring Bean? @ component. Okay, boss. Now listen. While making Java class as Spring Bean, we give the bean ID. We provide the bean ID. What do you say, guys? Okay. What that bean ID becomes, boss? Name of the object internally. Who creates this object? Programmer or developer? Programmer or container? Programmer or container? Okay, boss. So what is the difference between regular core Java program of dependency management and Spring application of dependency management? In core Java program, who loads the class, creates the object, who manages the object, who assigns dependents to target, who keeps the object ready for garbage collection? In Spring application, who loads the classes, who creates the objects, who manages the objects, who assigns dependent class object to target class object, Who destroys the objects? Clear, boss? Convinced, my dear? Okay, guys. Now listen. To make user-defined class as Spring Bean, on the top of the class, we are writing @ component. Yes. Is there any rule? Spring Bean means only user-defined class. It can be predefined class also. Third-party supplied class also. Third-party means not specific to Spring, outside of Spring also. Come on, guys. Maybe Core Java supplied classes, Advanced Java supplied classes, XAPA supplied classes, YAPA supplied classes. What do you say, guys? Perfect. So now I'm asking, can you open source code of predefined class or third-party supplied class to add component annotation? That means what procedure we are following for user-defined class to mark it as a Spring Bean. Nothing but writing component on the top of Spring Bean class source code. Can I do to make predefined class as Spring Bean, guys? Can I use to make predefined class as Spring Bean, guys? Not possible. Is that clear, guys? Understanding my statement, guys? Okay. For that purpose, what you have to do, you need to place one special method inside the configuration class. What is that method? @bean method. What method? @bean method. You take one method. Inside the method, you create and return predefined class object. On the top of the method definition, you write @bean. So what happens, guys? That method returned object automatically becomes Spring Bean. That object now managed by container. It can be used for injection activities. It can be used for lookup activities. Yes or no? Okay, now I'm preparing background to understand that. Can we edit the source code of predefined class? What is the answer? We can use a decompiler, but that's not a permanent, right, guys? How can we make Java class as Spring Bean using annotation? Using annotate. Use component class. See, component WMG bean ID. This is my class or not? So tell what container will do. Loads the class, creates the object, and makes bean ID as the reference variable name. Nothing but object na, boss. See, IOC container is creating wish message generator class object, and that object name is what? WMG. Nothing but reference variable name, guys. So how to make Java class as Spring Bean? Okay, note. This cannot be applied for, come on. This cannot be applied to make, what is this? Predefined Java class as the Spring Bean. Spring Bean. Can we really apply this technique to make predefined Java class as Spring Bean, guys? Is it really possible, my dear? Not possible. Okay. Now listen, second one. How can we make predefined Java class as Spring Bean using what? Annotations. How can we make predefined class as Spring Bean using annotations? Is that clear, guys? Super. We cannot use component because we cannot edit and add component to predefined class source code. Is it possible, guys? I want to make date class as Spring Bean. Can we edit the source code of date class? I want to make a local date time class as Spring Bean. Can we edit the source code of local date time class? It's a predefined class. And sir, they can give along with the at the rate component na. Our date class is given by core Java people. Why they will add at the rate component annotation of Spring there? Date class is given for Java people or Spring people. So why non-Spring people needs at the rate component? Come on, my dear. Spring want to use date class, right? That's why we need to make it Spring Bean, guys. But normal core Java people wants to make it as Spring Bean. Do they need at the rate component in the source code? But Spring people needs it. But can I open it and can I keep it? Then what is the solution for that problem? Hmm. We must place at the rate bean methods of configuration class to make these methods returned predefined Java class objects as the Spring Bean with the given IDs. Everyone check it out. Everyone check it out. This is app config.java, regular package imports, class with at the rate configuration annotation. Come on. Class with at the rate configuration annotation. Okay, 1 minute. For better feel, guys, what I do is I will type in front of you people. Yes, boss. Tell me anything. You should take public method. Okay, tell me, guys, am I going to call at the rate bean method or they will be called automatically? At the rate bean methods of configuration class, we don't call. They will be called automatic. Such methods are called callback methods. Callback method means they will be called automatically. Our main method is callback method. Are we calling manually? Servlet lifecycle methods are callback methods. Are you calling manually? Are in your mobile also, when you miss the call, they will provide callback option. You can choose when you are missing the call, you can choose option call back within 1 hour. After 1 hour, you will get a reminder. Do I dial this number? Do I need to dial this number? If you take the decision of yes, call will go. So that means calling some number after 1 hour is automatically taken. Decision is automatically taken or not. Super. Okay. Public date. What is this? Create date. Who is creating object? Date D is equal to new data. Then what is next one? Return D, guys. End of the method. How to make it as a Spring Bean, my dear? How to make it as a Spring Bean, my dear? At the rate bean, name is equal to dt. At the rate bean, name is equal to dt. Perfect. Next. Okay. This method return date class object becomes Spring Bean. Having bean ID dt, boss. Method name is your choice. Return type is what you want to return, public. And just creating object. Here one disadvantage is there. What is that? I am manually creating object. Or actually IOC, we expect object creation process from whom? IOC container. But here we have to compromise letter. This one you have to compromise. Okay. Nowadays, most of the methods in data class are deprecated. As alternate, initially we used calendar class, but that is also outdated. Nowadays, from Java 8 onwards, what we are using? Java, Joda date and time API. What is that? Joda date and Java 8 date and time API. Java dot time dot local date. Java dot time dot local time. Java dot time dot local date time. We can use that one or not there. Super. Local date time. Create LDT. Return local date time dot now. Okay. It is creating and returning local date time class object or not, boss? It is creating and returning local date time class object or not, boss? I want reply. And local date time dot now is the static method. Okay. Creating local date time class object having system date and time. Okay. How to make this method returned object as a string bean? At the rate bean name is equal to LDT. At the rate bean name is equal to LDT. Is that clear, my dear? I want reply. This method return local datetime class object becomes a string bean having the bean ID LDT. Having the bean ID LDT. So final conclusion is what? If a Java class is user defined class and you want to make it as a string bean, okay, what is the best option? At the rate component. If Java class is predefined class and you want to make it as a string bean, what is the best option? At the rate bean method inside the configuration class. Are you getting my point there, guys? See, guys, what happening? How many objects are created here, guys? IOC container running on the top of JRE JVM. Date class object is created having name DT. Local datetime class object is created having named LDT. Come on, boss. Final conclusion. At the rate configuration is class level annotation. At the rate component is class level. You have to apply on the top of the class. At the rate bean is method level annotation. Got it? At the rate configuration class gives inputs or instructions to whom, guys? At the rate component class is okay. At the rate component class is what? Spring bean class, right now, boss? Spring bean class. Okay, next. At the rate bean method returned object becomes what? Spring bean or not? At the rate bean method returned object becomes spring bean or not, guys? Super, guys. Tell me, you may ask, interview asking one, you may get, why should I take spring beans? Why should I make Java class spring bean? This question eats your brain or not there? Okay, tell me, guys, in your project, one class will be there, lots of classes will be there. We add lot of jar files to class path. We work with a lot of predefined classes of JDK. Do you want to make every class as Spring Bean? We want to make one important class as Spring Bean. But how normal classes knows I am normal, I am not a Spring Bean. How Spring Bean knows I am Spring Bean, I am not a normal. Somewhere we have to configure normal classes as Spring Bean. Then container knows I should not treat this class as a normal class. I should treat this one as a Spring Bean, so that I should load the class, I should create the object, I should manage the object, I should, if needed, I should inject other objects. If needed, this object should be injected to other objects. Okay, lastly, it has to destroy the object or not there. That is possible only when you give special identity or not, guys. In this classroom, so many human beings are there. Since I occupied the dais, I got a special identity faculty. Yes or no, na? I got the special identities faculty. Because of the way this 33% is wearing the dress, they got the special gender identity or not. And because of regular stereotype dressing pant and shirt, you got a special identity of male. Yes or no, na? So that means all are human based on the kind of dressing they do. They got the identity or not, guys. Similarly, all our classes, but I want to tell to IOC container, take only these classes as Spring Bean. That for that one, we should give special instruction to IOC container about those classes or not. For that one, we have to use annotations or XML files or not. In that process, we are making Java class as Spring Bean so that Spring Bean can use those classes for lifecycle management and dependency management. What do you say, guys? The Spring's IOC container can perform lifecycle management, dependency management only on the classes that are acting as the Spring Bean. So we need to make Java class as Spring Bean using one or other technique. Convinced, boss? Am I treating every student as my student? Yes, sir. No. Whoever comes and sit in this classroom, I am treating them as my student, right? Do I treat every roadside fellow as my student? No, na. The person who comes and sit in this classroom, who listens my class, I will treat him as my student. Yes or no, na? Similarly, IOC container takes every class as Spring Bean. It takes only those classes as Spring Bean that are configured as Spring Bean using XML files or annotation. Okay, what's the advantage of making class as Spring Bean? And once you make class as Spring Bean, lifecycle management, loading class, creating object, managing object, destroying object, dependency management, assigning one object with another object will be taken care by container. That burden is reduced from the programmer. So that means somewhat benefit is there making class as Spring Bean. Super guys. At the rate configuration can have 0 or more at the rate bean method. Not compulsory fixed two methods, guys. Suppose I don't have any predefined class in my application, all are user defined classes. Do I take any at the rate bean methods? In my program, target, depend, everything is predefined. Then I will take multiple at the rate bean methods or not. Super. When IOC container is created, giving configuration class, the following things takes place automatically. Number one, what is number one? IOC container loads configuration class, create object for it to make it as a Spring Bean. First of all, IOC container loads configuration class, creates the object. Why, sir? Why it is doing that? Array, at the rate bean methods are static methods or non-static methods? I will murder you if you take this much time to identify. Statica, non-statica. Non-static. Did I use static word? Public date, create date. Public local date time, create LDT. They are sounding like static methods. Why are you taking this much time, waste fellows? Don't worry. Waste fellow looks like a blessing in the coming days. It's my default word when I control my scolding. When I control. Okay? Mark my word. Right, guys. Static method or non-static method? To call non-static method of configuration class object is required or not required? That's why first what it is doing. The moment container is created, it is loading the configuration class and creating object for configuration class, so that it can use that object while calling at the rate bean methods or not. Second step is what? IOC container call at the rate bean method to make the returned objects of those methods as the Spring Bean with the given ID. Methods automatically. Automatically. Understood my statement, guys? Is that clear? So final conclusion is what? To make Java class as a Spring Bean, which is user defined, component better, at the rate bean method is better. Component is enough, right? User defined, ra babu. To make Java class of predefined as Spring Bean, at the rate bean method. Clear, guys? Okay, now I am giving tricky question to you people. Can we make user-defined Java class as Spring Bean using at the rate bean method of configuration class? Don't look at the answer, give me answer. Yes, but not recommended. Why? Okay, that answer you have seen and giving reply. But why it is not recommended, can you analyze? Respond. Why user-defined class should not be made as Spring Bean using @bean method. When you make predefined, you can make user defined also, na? You only think logically, guys. User defined class means programmer developed class. Source code is visible to you. We can go to top of the class. You can keep component. That is easy, yeah. You take method, you create object, you return object, and on the top of the method @bean, which is easy. Just placing component easy or not there. If you go for @bean method, you should take a method, you should create object, you should return object, @bean. After doing this much also, you only creating object manually, na. When you go for component, what is happening? Container loading class, container creating object, container managing object. In @bean method, what's happening? You are loading class, you are creating object. Okay, container is just managing object. After doing this much work also, you are getting only one benefit, right? Yes, that's why what is answer? Yes, but not recommended. The recommendation one is component. Check it out. Configuration class, guys. Yes. Public wish message generator. Create WMG. Return new wish message generator @bean. What's happening, boss? I'm only loading class. I'm only creating object. It's a big process, a difficult process now, boss. Container makes this method returned wish message generator class object as Spring Bean with the bean ID WMG. But the programmer is forced to create object for the Spring Bean class using new operator. Using new operator. For user defined class, prefer what? Component. Look at this, which is easy, guys. Wish message generator.java on the top of the class, just component is in a boss. Keeping component on the top of the class is easy na boss. I want reply. What do you say, guys? Okay, if you do like this, who loads the class? Container. Who creates the object? Who manages the object? Who destroys the object? If you go for previous approach, who is loading the class? Who is creating object? Who is managing object? Container. Worst fellows. Because this method returned object becomes what? Spring Bean. Yes or no? Na? Who is going to destroy the Spring Bean object? Container. Because Spring Bean it has already become. So what is my conclusion, guys? What is the conclusion? Now onwards, blindly remember one thing. What is the one thing? If a Java class is user-defined class and you want to make it as a Spring Bean to enjoy Spring container supplied lifecycle management and dependency management, what is the one I should use? Component. You are there in Amirpet, Hyderabad. Better to attend offline class or online class? Because you are there in Amirpet, right? You are there in Hyderabad. So that you can be more alert, more active. Agree with me, guys? Okay. Venkat, tomorrow onwards come for offline class. Right. You are not there in Hyderabad. You are there in far distance. Better to attend which class? Why? Coming to Hyderabad may not be possible for you. You have other commitments, other requirements. Okay, na? So that time online. But when you are there in Hyderabad, better to attend offline classes or not. As long as you can open the source code component. You cannot open the source code bean method. Cluster clear? Okay, now we got clarity how to create a container, how to make Java class as Spring Beans. That means we are ready with aquarium. We are ready to build the fishes. Spring Beans are fishes, Rababu. Come on. But one thing you are still not ready, how to assign one Spring Bean class object with another Spring Bean class object. Array, dependency injection still I have not given now, boss. I have given code of container creation. I have given code of how to make Java class as Spring Beans, right, boss? But I want to show, I want to tell how one Spring Bean class object can be assigned to another Spring Bean class object. Array, dependency injection is also called wiring. What is that? Bean wiring means assigning one Spring Bean class object to another Spring Bean class object. Array, between fan and switchboard, wire is there. Because of that, they are linked with each other. Bean wiring means linking two Spring Beans, assigning one Spring Bean class object to another Spring Bean class object. Okay. Flipkart DTDC. Okay, I want to wire them. What I want to do? DTDC class object I should assign or inject to what? Flipkart class object are not there. Component to make Java class as Spring Bean. At the rate bean method to make Java class as Spring Bean, maybe predefined. At the rate configuration to make Java class as configuration class from Spring Bean. Then what is the annotation we have to tell to container? Take that bean assigned to this bean. Take dependent Spring Bean class object assigned to current bean class object. There should be one or other annotation now, boss. Wiring means injection. Auto wiring is the annotation. Auto wide. At the rate auto wide. What do you mean by at the rate auto wide? Hey container, I don't tell who is my dependent clearly. I don't give anything clearly. This is my dependent. Somewhere you apply at the rate auto void, collect that property type. That means class name. Go to that class related Spring Bean class object. Take it, inject it to current Spring Bean. That is called wiring. But here, dependent is dynamically and automatically decided now, boss. Okay, that's why it is called auto wiring. What wiring, guys? Auto wiring. That means dependent is not explicitly specified. It is automatically detected and injected. That's why it is called as what? Auto wiring. Sometimes you need not to and long run meaning of that statement, internal meaning of that statement. Auto wire annotation is also like that. In Flipkart class, private DTDC is there. On the top of at the rate auto wide I written. What annotation instructs IOC container, you know? Hey programmer, auto wide is applied on which type of property? DTDC property. It takes class DTDC and searches, is there any Spring Bean whose class name is DTDC? There are not there. Let us assume there. Takes that object and inject to what? Flipkart class object. Am I clearly telling I need DTDC anywhere? Based on the type of the property where at the rate auto void is applied, it is dynamically deciding DTDC is the dependent and that should be injected to target Flipkart class object or not there. Super. Yeah, we are entering into crucial part of the coding, guys. I want you people to give 200% focus. Both online and offline, I want 200% focus. Everyone, stop laying your back on the chair. Behave like a young man, young girls. 90 degrees. I want to see spinal cord in 90 degrees. Online students, those who are laying on bed and listening class. Okay. Still time is there to get into the bed. First get up and sit down. My dear coma students, patient students, when you are above 70 years, below 5 years, then only you will sleep on the bed at the daytime. Daytime you are sleeping means either you are below a 5-year kid or above 70-year-old man. I hope you are not that. Or patients. Patients, coma patients, normal patient, they also live on the bed. Okay, the people who are laying on the bed as a patient, please get up and sit down. I hope all are active. Can I check randomly? Okay. Online student, everyone please respond. What is 22 plus 42? What is 22 plus 42? Mona Singh. Mona Singh, wash your face and Mona Singh, wash your face and be ready. Super. What about others? What about others? What about others? If you are having male gender or female gender, please respond. Perfect. Okay. Basically, I'm a project manager. I know how to take the work from the people. I'm very good in people management. Okay. So you call me project leader, teacher, whatever name you want, but I will do whatever I want because I'm a monarch. Okay. Do you think I will stop my regular process by seeing your comments? Oh, forget about that. I already said when you have not wore pants, that time I started doing coding, ra babu. Don't teach how to cough. Okay. Dependency management in Spring, guys. How many ways are there? 2 ways. Lookup, injection. DI, DL. DI is having how many subtypes? In that one, how many popular are there? What is best? Okay, guys. That part is clear? Super. Dependency injection is also called bean wiring. This is what I was shouting. Means assigning dependent Spring Bean class object to target Spring Bean class object. Example, assigning DTDC class object to Flipkart class object. Assigning engine class object to vehicle class object. Aisa no na, boss? Okay, now listen, boss. Bit of core Java. Modi said, I will deposit 10 lakh rupees your account. Be ready. Be ready means what you should do, guys. Everyone should open account in the bank. That's the minimum thing. Okay. I said, May, in the month of May, I'm going out of country. Be ready for online classes. What does it mean, guys? You should be ready with a laptop, at least a mobile phone. In that one, Zoom should be installed. Later, after starting classes, if you say, I don't have laptop, I don't have mobile, am I responsible for that? Similarly, IOC container says, I will inject a dependent class object to target class object. In target class, I should take one or other reference variable as a member variable to hold that injected object or not. Using reference variable, I can refer a object. Okay, DTDC class object, I want to inject to Flipkart. In Flipkart, I must take DTDC type property or not, as a member variable or not. Such properties are technically called as what? Has a properties. Studied in core Java. In one class, if you declare another class reference variable as the member variable, technically that is called what? Has a, indirectly has a property, na boss? That leads to composition discussion. Why are you keeping surprising face, boss? Give me notepad. Yeah, here is the notepad. Here is my class Flipkart. I must take DTDC, right guys? DTDC. Avinash Pandey, you take care of yourself, Ra Babu. Okay, you take care of yourself. Stop behaving like LKG, UKG kid. My friend is playing games. Okay. Are you not feeling shame, Avinash, to behave like this? Write one complaint letter also. I will give the stamp on it. Forest fellow. Okay, guys. Class Flipkart, private DTDC. Hurry, IOC container says, I will make both the classes as Spring Bean. I will create object. I want to inject DTDC class object to Flipkart. In Flipkart class, I must take one as a property. Come on, my dear. What is the as a property type? DTDC. This is class name. This is property name. If you don't like property name as DTDC, you can take something else. Sir, why are you taking it as a private? Array, any property we generally take private. What is the thumb rule of encapsulation, guys? Data private, methods public. So that no one can access data directly. Everyone should access data only through. That's a basic thumb rule. What encapsulation says, guys? It's a process of combining state and behavior and making state accessible only through behavior. So much technical, sir. State means variables, behavior means methods. So what it is taking what? State private and methods public. So that everyone can access state only through behavior, na? Yes or no, na? Okay. Tell boss how to tell to IOC container, hey container, you create target Flipkart class object, FPKT, at the rate component. How to tell to IOC container, hey container, you create a DTDC class object. You create DTDC class object. I want reply, boss. Yes or no, na? Okay, but now I want to tell to IOC container, hey IOC container, don't stop there. Assign a DTDC class object to target class object. Nothing but Flipkart class object. Okay. To Flipkart class object means what? A property of the Flipkart class object. Now what should I do? On the top of it class, we should write at the rate auto wide or not. By seeing at the rate component, it load both the classes, creates the objects, manage the objects. By seeing at the rate auto void property, what it will do? By seeing at the rate auto void property on the DTDC property, first it will observe what is the type of the property. DTDC. Yes, na? Then it comes to IOC container. Is there any Spring Bean whose class name is DTDC? There are not there. Takes that object, assigns to this property. So indirectly, what happened, guys? DTDC object is linked with a Flipkart class object, na boss? Yes or no, na? Are you understanding my statement? See, I am not creating object here. I take only reference variable. But injection will, when container comes into picture by seeing at the rate auto void, injection takes place or not, guys? Okay, take one more example, guys. Class wish message generator. What this wish message generator will do? It has to generate the wish message based on the current hour of the day. That is my business method. Here is my business method. Public string show wish message. Array, when Modi deposit 10 lakhs to your account, we will keep them as it is, or we will withdraw and use the money here. When DTD's object is injected to Flipkart class object, we try to use that DTD's object in the shopping and delivery methods or not. Shopping and delivery methods are not. When engine is injected to vehicle class object, in the journey method, we try to use the engine or not. Without engine, can we do journey, boss? When course material is injected to student class object, we will try to use injected course material object in the preparation method or not. In the exams method or not. We are not just injecting for time pass for proof sake. After injection, we can use in what? Business methods of the target class. I hope you understood, guys. Okay, show wish message. What is this? String user. What is this? My business method. What is this, guys? Business method. But in this business method, what is required, guys? Current hour of the day. Current hour of the day required mean, first of all, I should get system date and time. Current date and time. Say something, boss. I must get current hour of the day mean, first of all, I should get system date and time. Now tell me, boss, either date class object. When you create date class object using zero param constructor, does it hold system date and time or not? When I create local date time class object by using now method, now method, that also holds system date and time or not, guys? Super. So what I do is here, private, what is this? Local date time dt, some variable name, guys. This is as a property, na boss? This is as a property. Whenever I inject local date time class object to dt property, which is having system date and time, from there I can get current hour of the day. Here I can do like this, na boss. Into hour is equal to dt dot get hour. Dt dot get hour. So you will get hour in 24 hours format or not, guys? You will get hour in 24 hours format or not, guys? And once you got 24 hours format, below 12 o'clock, good morning. Like this, I can write the logic. If hour less than 12, return, what is this? Good morning, plus user. Like this, I have a logic here, boss. Like this, we have a logic here, guys. I want reply, my dear. Okay, now tell me. Okay, I want to create object for wish message generator, or I want to see container creating object. Okay, container creating object, that to user defined class. So I have to take at the rate component here. Super. Now tell me, who is the target here? Wish message generator. Who is my dependent here? Local date time. But did I make dependent as Spring Bean? No. How to make dependent as Spring Bean? At the rate component, at the rate bean method. Component of bean method. Array online student, dead or alive, respond, worst fellows. Component at the rate bean method. Component at the rate bean method. Okay, why at the rate bean method? Local date time is predefined class or user defined class? Predefined. Can I open and edit the source code of local date time class? No, 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 no. So, okay, tell me for that one, what should I do? I should take configuration class. Can I write at the rate bean method wherever I want? No. You must write inside what? Configuration class. Because they will be called only on the configuration. Public class app config, guys. Come on. On the top of it, what is this? Configuration. On the top of it, what is this, guys? Configuration. Cool, guys. Public local date time. What is there? Create LDT. Create LDT. Here is my what? At the rate bean. Name is equal to LDT. Return. What is this? Local date time dot. This method returned object is local date time. Okay. By seeing this at the rate bean method, local date time class object has become Spring Bean. Array method returned object is that only, right? And by seeing component, which message generator class has become Spring Bean. But I want to tell to container. I want to tell to container. Not only that, you assign local datetime class object to wish message generator class object. So I should use at the rate auto avoid annotation now, boss. Now tell me what it is going to do. Yes. On the top of property, what should I write? On the top of property, what should I write? At the rate auto avoid. Wiring it automatically. Tell me what's happening, boss. What's happening here? Okay. By seeing component, it makes target class as Spring Bean. By seeing at the rate bean method, makes a dependent class as Spring Bean. Both are managed by IOC container. Then it will start searching for what, guys? At the rate auto avoid annotation. Where it is there? On the top of DT property. What is DT property type? Local date time. Is there any Spring Bean whose type is? Whose class name is local date time? There are not there. They're already created na boss. That will be assigned to DT na boss. Now DT is assigned with local date time class object. That too with the system date and time. So when I say DT dot get hour, I will get the current hour of the day. What is current hour of the day? 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock means what wish message I will get whenever I call this business method. Good morning. I hope you enjoyed, guys. So final conclusion is at the rate component at the rate bean to make Java class as Spring Bean. Okay, to assign one Spring Bean with another Spring Bean at the rate auto. People may ask me one question. Where you are giving clarity, which is target, which is dependent class, sir? Array, where at the rate auto avoid is there, that automatically looks like a target. Where that is not there, that looks like a dependent. Do I need to tell I am faculty every time? In the room, I am opposite to you people. I am the only one person opposite to you people. Do you have your common sense to recognize me as a faculty? Or do I need to hold board? I am target, I am faculty. No, na. Do I need to explicitly tell you are my students? You are opposite to me, I am on the dais. You are automatically my student, right? So similarly, and two pins are there, where at the rate auto avoid is there, target. Where at the rate auto avoid is not there, dependent. Common sense, boss. IOC container is also having bit self-intelligence. So that's why it will detect at the rate auto-wide being as target where that is not there dependent. But there may be a situation like this. Listen carefully. This DTDC is having one dependency, delivery boy. What's the class name? Now, I want to inject delivery boy to DTDC. Tell me, boss, in DTDC also I will take at the rate auto-wide now. But now DTDC is playing both roles now. Dependent to Flipkart and target to delivery boy. That time be careful. Now that time DTDC is playing both roles, right guys? In class 1, class 2 property is there with at the rate auto avoid. Class 1 is a target, class 2 is dependent. Come on, guys. In class 2, class 3 property is there having at the rate auto avoid. Class 2 is a target, class 3 is dependent. Until you give birth to kids, you are a child, your father is father, right? When you give birth to kids, you are child come father. You are playing both roles or not? You are playing both roles or not, guys? You are kid to your father and you are father to your kid. Right now, boss? So that's why be careful while identifying target and dependent. Nowhere we clearly say you are target, you are dependent. We leave it to IOC container common sense to identify something as target, something as dependent. Convinced, boss? Come on. Okay, come back to the discussion now. To keep target and dependent classes or string beans in dependency management, we need to design those classes through composition. Nothing but what, guys? Has a relationship. What relationship, guys? What relationship? Has a relationship. That means we need to take property of type dependent class as the property in a target class. Nothing but has a property. In Flipkart, DTDC property. In wish message generator, local date time property. See, DTDC class type property should be there in Flipkart class to hold DTDC class object given by IOC container. Engine class type property should be there in what? Vehicle class to hold engine class object given by IOC container. Clear, my dear? Wish message generator, target class but to user defined. Local date time class, predefined class, dependent class. Yes or no, boss? Okay, here why I'm keeping them in relationship, tell me. Wish message generator uses local date time class object supplied current hour of the day to generate the wish message like less than 12, good morning, greater than 12, less than 16, good afternoon, greater than 16, equal to 16, less than 20. Array 24 hours format ra babu. Good evening, about 20, good night. About 20, good night. Just now I have explained this entire story, boss. Just now I have explained this entire story. Wish message generator, package import, class, at the rate auto avoid having local date time. Come on. So far we spent time on all this stuff or not, guys? Okay, then we are developing the business method. We are developing the business method having business logic. But that business logic started with by getting hour from the local date time class object are not there, guys. Super. Okay, guys. One new annotation is given, boss. Remaining all are regular one. Okay, here is my configuration class, boss. Here is my configuration class. Package imports, at the rate configuration. Come on. I will explain this annotation in a moment. Configuration class definition. @bean method, creating and returning local date time class object. Just now I have developed in front of you people or not? Okay, now listen guys. The moment IOC container is created, configuration class is loaded, object is created, becomes Spring Bean, step number one. Next, number two, on that object, @bean methods will be called automatically, and bean method returned object becoming Spring Bean. But how does it knows? It has to make user defined classes as Spring Bean. Somewhere you have to give clarity now, boss. That clarity you are giving by using @component scan annotation. Observe, @component scan base package com.nt.sbin. That annotation gives instruction to container. Hey container, go to that package com.nt.sbin's package and sub packages. Search all the classes that are there in those packages. Wherever component is there, take it and make it as a Spring Bean. Otherwise, how IOC container knows in which classes of which package should make as a Spring Bean? You have to give list of packages where component classes are there. Come on. It goes to those packages, sub packages, collect all the classes, observes component is there or not there. Respond, Babu. If there, they will make them as Spring Beans or not. If there, they will become Spring Beans or not, guys. When they become Spring Bean, objects are created. Both objects are created by container, @bean and @component. All objects are managed by container. Now auto void comes into picture. Auto void is there on the top of which property? Which property? Date time property. What is the type of that property? Local date time. Now it comes to IOC container. Is there any Spring Bean whose bean class object class name is local date time? There are not there. Tell me, boss. There are not there. Takes that object, assigns to this one or not. Takes that object, assigns to this one or not. Today, what we completed, guys? Life cycle management, dependency injection. But this time, we have added auto void on the top of field na. But the member variable is also called field na, boss. Can I call it as field injection? Can I call it as field injection? IOC container takes this package through component scan annotation, goes to that package and sub packages to take component classes and to make them as Spring Beans. And to make them as Spring Beans. Is it not interesting, Babu, guys? Don't worry. You got 20% out of it. I'm happy. Because still coding is there. We are designing the code only right now. So final conclusion is what, guys? How to make two classes, managing life cycle, managing dependency injection by IOC container. First of all, you have to make both classes as Spring Beans. Because of that, IOC container creates the objects. In a target class has a property, should be dependent class type. Come on. On the top of it, what is the annotation we should use? @. Then what happens, guys? IOC container goes to that annotation, takes the property name, gets the class of the property, searches in IOC container, having this class name, is there any Spring Bean class object or not? Definitely available. That's why takes that object and assigns to that property or not. That is nothing but dependency injection or not. Tell me, boss, all these are done by container nicely now, boss. From which class execution starts, or it will start from configuration class or component class. Don't worry. Execution starts with main method. Inside the main method, we create the IOC container. Yes or no? Na? Hmm. Lakshmikant Solanki asked a question. At the rate component make Java class as Spring Bean. Why should I go for component scan? Simple theory. IOC container is not ready to go to each and every package, each and every sub package to scan and make the class as Spring Bean by seeing at the rate component. You should tell to IOC container, go to these packages and sub packages, take classes with at the rate component annotation, make them as Spring Beans. That's why we should use at the rate component scan. Tell me, guys, what's the difference between at the rate component and component scan? Component makes Java class as Spring Bean by loading the class, creating the object. At the rate component scan helps IOC container to go and search for at the rate component classes in the given package and sub packages. One is for identity purpose, searching purpose, scanning purpose. Other one is for taking those classes, making them as Spring Bean. I will tell something like this, guys. Secret agent will apply scanning on one area, will identify antisocial elements, and he informs to whom? Police department. And while arresting, police department will come and do arrest. Na? Secret agent never arrest. Why? Secret agent should remain secret only, right, boss? You don't want to expose him outside. Similarly, component scan is like secret agent. They just scan and identify the classes. Who actually makes those classes as Spring Bean? Component annotator. Who actually go for scanning of those classes? Component scan annotation. And a component scan. I scan and identify component classes. But making those classes as Spring Bean is done by IOC container by seeing at the rate component annotation. At the rate component annotation. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? Okay. What is the difference between at the rate component and at the rate component scan annotations? Vinod Rajput, I will give the flow when I develop the code now. Focus on what I am presenting, Rababu. See, focus on those areas which I am highlighting. Why are you trying to get into Nukkad Gullis, which I have not explained so far? Try to show some common sense, Ra. Do you think you only intelligent? Last warning, Vinod. Focus on that area which I am presenting. Definitely, I will give the flow. Today, did I say spring is over? No, na. We are just preparing background. I request everyone, focus only on that area what I am presenting. Right now, my focus is not on flow part, where flow starts, where flow ends. Right now, my focus is on what? How to use different annotation to give instruction to IOC container, right? I request everyone in the online classes. Right content I will introduce in right time. What is the answer, guys? At the rate, component annotation makes the IOC container. Okay. To make the given Java class as the Spring Bean by loading the class and creating object for that class. Right, guys? At the rate component scan annotation makes the IOC container. Okay. To scan the classes of the given package and sub packages to list out what is there, all the classes annotated with come on guys, at the rate component annotations, at the rate component annotation, at the rate component annotated with annotated with at the rate component. I hope you understood, guys. One is like secret agent identifying the problem area, but who actually arrests the problem area people? Police department. So at the rate component IOC container is like police department. Component scan is like secret agency. Getting my point there, guys? Super. Okay. Don't worry about order of execution. Today you just worry. Wiring means injection, right? Auto-wide makes IOC container or Spring container to search for dependent Spring Bean of current has a property type and inject that Spring Bean class object to has a property of Spring Bean class. Yes or no, na boss? Okay. Now you see the side to this. Here I have written some statement, very, very important statement. At the rate component make Java class as Spring Bean. Configuration make Java class as Spring Bean come configuration class. At the rate auto-wide makes IOC container to inject or assign dependent Spring Bean class object to target Spring Bean class object. Yes or no? Na? Where in the target object it will be injected? It will be injected to has a property or not, guys? It will be injected to has a property or not? Super. Okay, now listen, very important. If at the rate auto-wide is placed on the top of field or has a property or member variable of the target class, then it performs what injection, guys? Today, what injection we are doing, boss? Today, whatever injection we have done, that comes under. If same at the rate auto-wide is placed on the top of setter method, what method, guys? On the top of setter method, then it is called as, if same thing is placed on the top of parameterized constructor, right? Then it is called as, if same thing is placed on the top of arbitrary method, then it is called as, arbitrary method injection. But today what we have seen? Only convinced, boss? Okay. How to do setter injections later we will discuss, guys. When the above code is given to, what do you mean by above code? Wish message generator with component, business method at the rate auto-wide, configuration class with what? At the rate bean method, entire code, guys. Okay. When the above code is given to IOC container, what container? Annotation config application context. By specifying configuration class as shown below, the following operations takes place. That means entire magic is there when container is created. So here container creation statement na boss. Is it not container creation statement? I want reply. Is it not container creation statement? While creating container, I am giving configuration class as input class or not? Okay, first what it is doing, guys? IOC container takes configuration class, loads that class, creates object for it. First configuration class is loaded, object is created, and it will become Spring Bean na boss. It also makes it as Spring Bean. It also makes that one as a Spring Bean. Agree with me, guys? Okay, guys, next one. IOC container searches for component classes in different packages of the project and finds only one wish message generator class. Come on. Loads that class, creates the object having bean ID as the object name, collects the package name from which place, guys? Component scan. It collects the package name from which annotation, guys? Component scan annotation or not? So IOC container goes to component scan, collects the package, goes to that package and sub packages, searches. Are there any component classes? How many classes are there? Only one is there. On the top of what is there? Component. Because of component, it loads the class and creates the object, makes it as a Spring Bean. First, configuration class object is created. Next, because of component scan, component class is identified. Because of component annotation, component class object is created or not, guys? Created or not, guys? Next one. IOC container searches for component classes. Oh, that is done, guys. IOC container calls bean methods of configuration class. In this process, how many methods is find, guys? In this example, only one method. Okay, one method, and that method is invoked. And that method is invoked to make that method return local date time class object as Spring Bean or not? Spring Bean or not? Having bean ID. What is that, guys? LDT. Having bean ID, LDT. Third object is also ready. Super. Next one is what, guys? IOC container searches for auto void annotation. What, guys? And finds in target class has a property. What is the property name? Date time. What is the property type? Local date time. And searches for the Spring Bean whose object type is what? Okay, local date time. Since available, takes that object, injects to target class as a property. Is it not field injection, guys? Is it not field injection, my dear? I want reply, boss. Total how many operation? 4 operation. Look at same thing I am showing in the diagram. A configuration class object is created. Loaded, created. B, because of component scan and component, target class object is created or not? Come on, my dear. C, because of bean method, local date time class object is created or not? Number D, because of auto void, local date time class object is injected to whom? Is injected to whom, guys? Is injected to whom, guys? Target class has a property. Target class has a property. I hope you convinced, my dear. Got the clarity, boss? Okay, once again, see this. When the above code is given to IOC container by passing configuration class app config dot class as input file, what happens? Number one, IOC container loads configuration class app config, creates the object, makes it as a Spring Bean. Are you able to feel that here? In the container app config class object is created or not? So systematic presentation I am doing, right? Number two, same container, go to configuration class, collects package name from component scan. What is there? com.nt.sbeans is there. Go to that package, sub packages, searches for classes with @ component. How many classes found? How many classes found? Worst fellows. Online student, how many classes found? What is that one? What is that one class, Babu? Wish message generator, right? I'm shouting, you are not shouting. Am I going to get the job or you are going to get the job? Am I going to get the salary? You are going to get the salary. Am I going to get beautiful girl as wife or you are going to get? Then why should I shout, worst fellows? If you have a good life, good professional life, who will get good girl as a wife? You only, na? Then who should work hard? Naibara. You are behaving like that only. Okay, fine. What is next one? Number B. Go to component scan. Get the package name, right? Package name. In that package and sub packages, looks for @ component classes. There are not there are. How many? What is that? What happened earlier? What happened earlier? Come on. What he's saying? He's saying don't shout. Okay. Okay, fine. Leave it. Okay. Next one. He don't know Spring. He don't know value of Spring. That's why he'll say. Okay, guys. Tell me next one. After that, what next? You get one component class, right? Because of @ component, IOC container makes that class object as Spring Bean or not? Who creates the object? IOC. Next one. IOC container goes to configuration class. Notices how many @ bean method? Calls that method. Method invocation means calling the method. I think you know that, right? How many @ bean methods are called? A respond. Okay, what that method returned object and makes that object as Spring Bean or not? Yes or no? Na? Super. That is C. Okay, next. IOC container searches for what annotation? @auto. Where it is there? Target class has a property. What is the property name? The LDT, let us assume. What is the class name of that property? Okay, then what IOC container will do? It will take the class name of the property, field property, and searches. Is there any Spring Bean whose class name is local date time? There are not there. Not only their object is also there, right? What it will do? Takes that object, assigns to this property or not? Is it not called? Is it not called dependency injection? Since @ auto void is placed directly on the field, can I call it as field injection? That's it. Are you able to feel container only loading the classes, creating objects, managing objects, assigning dependent to target object, and destroying object if necessary? When it will do all these things? When container is ready. So if I add container code, my application becomes complete code na boss. Someone excited where flow starts are. Tomorrow you come, I will tell where flow starts. Not only starts, I will tell where it ends also. Okay. Are we set for first application development tomorrow? Really? Tomorrow, are you going to miss the class? Your karma. Your karma. Missing tomorrow's class is equal to missing entire spring core module. Tomorrow, important people have given appointment 9 to 11. Tell them, okay, one more life is waiting there. I cannot come today. That much important it is, right? Because whatever we learn so far, we are going to put all the things together and we are going to develop the application. Are we going good, guys? Enjoying my subject? Someone said that, sir, sometimes we are opening ready-made notes, some complex. Complexity is there. We are able to learn more and more subject because instead of typing notes, I'm able to spend more on explanation. I can involve you people in the discussion. I can correct you people. I can scold you people. This is good. Old style is good. Adjusted. In this style, one advantage is there. We can learn more subject in less time. Moreover, I can involve more and more you people in the discussions. If one time not understand, 2 times, 3 times we can do. But only notes is like this. Anyhow, I'm doing corrections in the notes also. But coding completely in front of you, I will do live coding. Nothing ready-made. Everything I will take live. Even opening Eclipse also I will do in front of you. Happy? Opening Eclipse also I do in front of. Installation of Eclipse you will do or I should do? You have not installed Eclipse so far? Not installed? Installed? Those who are not installed feel shame. Completed Advanced Java? Core Java? Still not installed Eclipse? Those who are not installed. You know Gurudwara? You know Satyam Theatre? Between both the places, there is a big nala, open nala. Jump into that. Don't waste normal water. Summer season is very precious. Thank you, guys. We'll meet. And let me upload the notes. Sir, I only taken core Java, not taken advanced Java. Parallelly plan. Immediately not required. Parallelly plan, boss. Yeah, what's your acha? Still, I think Facebook is not given a Facebook only na for you people. Sir, I'm in Hyderabad. I'm full stack Java student. Can I come for offline classes? Talk to office people once. Any technical query I can clarify, not this kind of thing. Yeah, where is this? 516? No, what's your batch code? Which topic? JDBC Servlet is required, guys. 901 Spring Core. Your Spring Boot Nava. I am teaching Spring Core only. This is 26th. Yes. Today we are discussing what? Spring Beans wiring using @AutoVoid. Okay, Sukanya, you don't have Facebook. Great. But create it for temporary. You might have taken temporary phone numbers also once in a while. Similarly, temporary Facebook does not matter. It's matter of 2-3 days, right? After that, I will move everything to Google Drive. I will move everything to Google Drive. Sir, I am not able to open the notes. Arif admin, okay, Arif is passing one statement. Tomorrow is the last day for payment. Okay, mostly day after tomorrow, Monday onwards, link will be changed, right? Super. Right. Tomorrow we have session. First Saturday over, na? Second Saturday. Second Saturday is not sweet Saturday. So you have to attend the class. Tomorrow we have classes. Thank you, guys. Have a nice time. I'll accept Facebook request after the class.